listeners, thank you for joining us. I'm Joy.
And I'm Laura.
And I'm Karly.
And this is The Witches of Letters, a supernatural rewatch podcast.
Buckle up as we dive into this Bloody Mary mini episode.
Yeah, because today is a very special day, my friends, because today we have Karly Latham with us. Karly Latham is in the house. And I don't care how that sounded, because I like saying in the house. So I'm going to keep saying it, even if it dates me terribly.
It's okay.
I'm going to make it cool again.
I say we own our ages. My son was dragging me yesterday for being a millennial, and I was like, I don't know why you think that's a bad thing, because I own that shit. Like, I will stick with my out-of-date phrases and not bat an eyelash.
Same. I love being a millennial.
I feel like we are one of the coolest and also one of the most rock and roll generations, and we are aging like fine wine, okay?
See?
I have seen that conversation everywhere, and I'm just like, you know what? I am, though. I am, in fact, aging like fine wine. We're just immortal. Like, we might be immortal. Like, all of the stuff that we went through, the nihilism of the 90s and the power of Daria, I think we might be immortal.
The power of Daria.
The power of Daria compels you.
I was just about to say that.
We're doing the Shining Twins thing already.
Oh,
okay.
We are.
So, the reason why you guys are being gifted with this absolute gem of a bonus episode is because I might have invoked Bloody Mary, like, just very incautiously on our podcast in real life.
Wait, no, you knew what you were doing.
To be fair, I did look Laura dead in the eye while I said Bloody Mary, and then she was like, Joy, what are you doing? Stop it. And then I said it again. So I am the problem. I am the reason for the chaos. We got haunted. We're such a haunted podcast, and it is all my fault. It is all my fault. I recognize that. But that's why we're here, because when I was younger, I played Bloody Mary, and I had the wildest experience of my life. So I'm going to share that story with you guys. But also Karly, who is an incredible medium, did a reading for me about it, because I was like, I had a real life Bloody Mary experience. It would be kind of fun to fuck around and find out with that and be like, what is the relationship of this? And Karly was like, fun fact, she is attached to you.
Forevers. BFFs.
Forever. BFFs forever and ever and ever. So I just decided that we're like spooky girlfriend BFFs, and I've been writing fiction about it. Where my main character, Final Girl, says Bloody Mary 3 times because she has the same attachment, and then Bloody Mary comes out to kill her opponents for her, which I think is just an incredibly cool idea.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you. So I am going to go ahead and tell you guys the story, and then afterwards, we're going to do a reading, and we're going to check on the status of my Bloody Mary attachment. And we're going to have a very good time with Karly Latham. How does that sound to everybody?
Excellent.
Perfect. I'm imagining the audience replaying too when I said that, and I don't know why, because I can't hear them, because this is happening in the past for them. But you guys, if you answered me out loud, I heard you. Okay, I left a gap for you. I believe in you. All right, I know you're there. Okay, so the year is 1993, and we are about to get haunted. It was 1993, and at school we were studying the Salem witch trials. In the evenings and on the weekends, I spent a lot of time listening to my friends tell stories about local urban legends. Stories about girls floating, playing stiff as a board, light as a feather, rising and rising up into the air like smoke. We had played last week, and when it was my turn to play dead, I had felt myself floating, absolutely flipped out, and accidentally whacked my friend in the face, which resulted in me getting punched so hard that I almost hurled on her bedroom floor.
I mean, that's when it's real. that's real friendship.
That is real friendship when there's violence, casual violence.
If you're not almost if you're Southern. Puking. Yep, see? There it is. There it is. I don't know if that's everywhere, but us in the South. But I just feel like if you're not accidentally puking on someone's carpet, then what kind of friends are you?
Yeah, I agree. Laura, do you have violent banter in the UK?
Yeah, I think we have that here.
Okay.
I usually call people, like, me and my friends used to just call each other bitch all the time as a term of endearment. So yeah, I think that's similar.
I do that with Karly now. I'll rock up in voice notes and be like, bitch, do you know what just happened?
Yep. Yep. It's a thing. It's a whole vibe.
So the older girls were obsessed with stealing their older brothers' horror movies and hosting a kind of tough girls late night theater where we all tried to be cool while watching Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, Alien, anything that was scary and forbidden. We had just watched The Shining, after which I hadn't slept for weeks. On top of that, we were taking turns reading Crypt Keeper anthologies and the holy grail of kid horror, R.L. Stein's Goosebumps series.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love that it was over here too. Until we got to be friends, I really thought that Goosebumps was purely an American thing, but no, Goosebumps is everywhere.
No, I was obsessed with the books. They were my favorite books when I was a kid, and then I started reading Stephen King. Far too young.
Yep. Same.
Yep.
I went from
Yep.
reading Goosebumps to watching The Shining and having my world rocked.
Mhm. Yeah.
You truly did, and that is going to
did.
feature in this story too. So you're going to love part of this.
Yes.
Honestly, deep down, I hated it. I hated horror. I was terrified all the time. Younger me was a pretty sheltered little flower who hated to be scared. I think I just didn't want to lose the only friends I had out of school. They were also really cool, if a little Heatherish. We'll call them Stacy and Becca for this story time. Stacy and Becca were older than me. I was a middle schooler, and I think they were freshmen in high school. Stacy was a bad ass. She toughened me up something fierce and turned me into the person I am today. Without her, I think I probably wouldn't have made it through all the crazy shit that came at me later in life. She taught me to catch snakes and scorpions barehanded, taught me to stick up for myself and how to throw a punch. She showed me how to do bike stunts and skate and play street hockey, and she never cared how poor I was. Becca was her best friend, and Becca and Stacy once spent a whole summer covering the backyard in trash bags to make a homemade water slide. They taught me how to cartwheel and tumble on an old mattress in the backyard. As much as I hated when they would hurl puffball mushrooms at me or those caterpillars that eject fake blood everywhere when they're pissed off, looking back, I think they actually meant really well. I was so high-strung, so soft, and they knew that I would get rejected and bullied at school if I couldn't learn to grow up a little and stop whining. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of an annoying kid. Like, I was scared of everything. I was not down to play. Like, the caterpillar thing happened over and over and over again. You know those little red ones in Florida that, like, they get mad and they spit like fake blood everywhere, and I would come back covered and like it would look like I'd been shot, and my mom was like, "What happened?" And I'd be like, "Nothing."
I see.
And I'd be
I'm not
crying.
about that. I'm not about that life, okay? You lost me. All the rest of it, fine. You lost me at scorpions. Stacy, no ma'am. No ma'am. Me as a tiny spawn as youth? No. No. Me as a grown ass adult? No. You get out of my face with those spider lobster combination monstrosities.
Lobster combination monstrosities.
That's
Oh my
exactly what
days.
a scorpion is. It's a spider lobster monstrosity. Stacy, you keep your blood spewing caterpillars and your scorpions in your corner. I will sit here and hang out with Bloody Mary, and you keep your disgustingness to yourself. Ma'am, we don't need to worry about Bloody Mary this episode. We need to worry about Stacy. I will flip the fuck out if I find a scorpion in my bedroom after this. That's what I'll blame you for. Get haunted? Fine. I'm all about that life. That's okay. A scorpion? Nay.
I'll tell you what, that got my pain tolerance up real quick. Those little black fuckers hurt.
Ugh.
It hurts. Like I feel like I still have the balls for it. Like I feel like the lady
No.
balls. I feel like I could still
No.
do it now.
See,
But,
you've encountered both of our worst fears. Okay, Laura's over here like, don't you dare say Bloody Mary 3 times in a row, and I'm over here like, scorpions?
How dare you?
Nay.
I'm horrified by all of these creatures. We don't have anything like this in the
That's
UK.
true. In the UK, there's literally nothing. Like, I'm
See?
genuinely concerned. I was going to say, because when I take Nick over, he's going to try to play with alligators.
Okay. I mean, I'd be right there with him. You know, like I'm all about. I see an alligator and I am fucking thrilled. But scorpions or the other one that we don't mention? Joy, plug your ears. This is going to get real. Cockroaches. You're safe now.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Continue.
Thank you. I will. Okay. They also genuinely had my back. I remember the year before they went up to high school, they, the cool girls, heard me getting picked on in the stairwell and came around the corner. They verbally eviscerated the mean girl who was messing with me and made it really clear that anybody who came at me would leave crying too, because they made her cry. It was amazing. It was beautiful to watch. I would go back to that moment and watch it over and over again, because this girl was like the meanest girl in the school, and she made it her mission to just make kids cry, and to see her crying in public. Oh, karma, beautiful. You know, all of those 80s and 90s coming of age movies where the dorky, weedy kid gets a personality makeover and some protection from the school badasses. That's who they were for me. Picture Cole and the babysitter with B, and you have a pretty accurate picture of the dynamic.
I'm here for this.
So, right? Like, it was good. It was a good time. It was hard at times, but it was good. And I grew as a person, and I am who I am because of them. So shout out to them.
We love a glow up. We can forgive the scorpions, maybe.
Karly is so begrudging. I wish you guys could see her face right now when she's saying that. She is not convinced. So, was I picturing bathtub lady decaying behind every shower curtain? Yes. Yes, I was. Was I sweating the Goosebumps storylines most Mondays? You bet. But somewhere between the scorpion stings and learning how to open a butterfly knife, the scraped knees, the gymnastics, and learning that I could get stronger, that I didn't have to be so afraid of falling, that I could play nerve. That's the game where you stab a knife in the gaps between your fingers as fast as you can without ideally stabbing yourself or losing one of them. I was starting to stop identifying with the blonde girls who were always getting killed off, usually running away and hiding and crying, and more with the final girls who fought back.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how you made it to adulthood. Hearing all of this, like, how are you alive?
Oh, there are so many stories that I could tell you. Like, my childhood was unhinged.
This is the tip of the iceberg. I know this, but like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know what? I'm there on the Goosebumps. I'm there on The Shining, the bathtub lady. Fuck her forever, okay? But you're talking about stabby fingers and scorpion stings not being that big of a deal. And I'm just saying Nick should praise the powers that be every day that you're still alive.
Probably. I want you to really know them so that when I tell you what happened that night when we played Bloody Mary, they don't come off just like mean older girls who are torturing me. I also want to take you back in time so you understand that this was the era before Amber Alerts. Kids' faces are on milk cartons. We see them every day at school. They are an active part of lunch. We don't have cell phones. People with tons of money maybe have car phones, and the rest of us barely can afford cordless phones. There's no real internet, and Google won't be invented for another 5 years. Urban legends are as real to us as those missing kids signs. So when I tell you that Bloody Mary in 1993 was absolutely real to us, I need you to understand that there's no exaggeration. This is not any kind of embellishment. It's just a fact. Let me do a little scene setting for you. Let me take you back a few weeks in time before I summoned demonic forces in the neighbor's bathroom mirror. It's June and we're about to get out for summer break. I distinctly remember this time because Stacy and Becca had gone up to high school, and I guess there's a metaphorical smell to poverty because the kids at school always knew about my Goodwill clothes somehow, and they taunted me, telling me that I was so poor I had to wear dead people's clothes. Kids are mean. You know?
Yeah.
Kids are mean.
Fuck them. Okay. First of all, dead people clothes are cool as shit. So this is why my campaign, Adults Against Spawning, exists.
I'm dead. I couldn't stop thinking about that urban legend about that girl who got her prom dress from Goodwill because she was too poor to buy anything better, and she goes to the dance and starts to feel weird. She ends up dropping dead because it turns out that the dress had been taken from a dead girl, and it was laced with toxic embalming fluids that had soaked into her skin and poisoned her. It got me because all my clothes were from Goodwill, like I just said. All day I kept thinking that I could smell mothballs. By lunchtime, I couldn't stop fidgeting. I kept thinking I felt odd and that it was probably my clothes slowly killing me. Anxiety has been with me for a while, I think. Like, from the beginning. It was a relief when the bell rang finally because it was Friday, so it was pizza day. and I grabbed a big square of perfectly cheesy pizza and a Coke, finally able to stop thinking about the skin-crawling feeling and the scent of embalming fluid as the gooey, perfect cheese pizza hit my taste buds. I maintain that there is no problem that can't be solved with pizza.
Yo, pizza day was the shit, okay? I back you up
Yes.
fully on pizza day. It was this, like, French bread, not French bread pizza that we all got. Yeah. Shit, yeah. I'm here for this.
Thank you. It was amazing. Laura, did you ever have pizza day in the UK?
Yeah, I think so. I used to take a packed lunch most of the time, but I do remember pizzas a bit like Karly was just saying that were like a French stick pizza.
Yeah, yeah.
What
I
is
also
it?
had
Okay.
packed lunch.
Because they are magical rectangles and they're nicer than almost any other kind of pizza. I have so much nostalgia for them, okay? I would give a left
Yep.
arm for that pizza again in my
For
life.
school
Like,
lunch pizza.
it's everything.
Same.
There's some weird magical quality.
I
I
agree
just
with
had a
this.
memory of we used to have like actual square. They were big square
Yeah.
pizzas that were then cut up as well. Yeah, I
Yep.
just had a recovered memory.
Okay, so that means it's international. There's some kind of weird witchcraft going on here. We need to investigate this later.
That's like we were saying about the urban legends. Like, because we were all obsessed with this as well.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the internet.
That's the thing that
Yeah.
gets me. That's the thing that really gets me, because now in the age of the internet and Google, you can understand how Bloody Mary is international. But back in the day when we didn't have those kind of connections, that means that it would have had to travel by word of mouth from people who were literally traveling across continents. And it just seems so weird that they blossom what feels like overnight, because I've checked and she's all the way back in several different countries, including all the way over in India. So like, how? How?
Everywhere.
She's
I've actually looked into this before. I don't remember all the information. We don't have time for that anyways. But there is a phenomenon with several of these stories that pre-internet that we just all had the same experiences and the same stories, even though it wasn't as easy to spread information back in the day, back in my youth.
Relieved, I started thinking instead about how it was almost summer break and I was going to a sleepover in just a few weeks when school kicked out. I was really looking forward to the sleepover because it was Stacy and Becca's. Plus, Stacy's parents had more money than my family, and that meant access to things that felt like Christmas to my poor white trash self.
White trashers unite.
Right? I figured there would be movies from Blockbuster, Pizza Hut, and probably some cable TV that I wasn't allowed to watch at home. Also, we did not have cable because we could not afford that. So Christmas Day, We would have pillow fights and makeovers with purple mascara and bubblegum scented nail polish, prank call boys, and eat until we fell asleep to the glare of the forbidden TV shows. It sounded absolutely perfect to me. My daydream ended when the kids around me started whispering a name. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody. She got elbowed as her friend gut checked her, knocking the air out of her. I distinctly remember that there was a rumor that kids were playing Bloody Mary and that they were, depending on the version, getting their eyes scratched out, dying of fright, or straight up disappearing from this earth. I'd heard the name, but I had no idea what it was or why you weren't supposed to say it out loud 3 times. Do you remember the first time that you heard about it? Roughly what age you were?
I was definitely in primary school, so probably about 9, 10.
Yeah, I was 10.
Yeah, I feel like I may have been 8 or 9, and I remember the eyes scratched out version. That's the version that I remember, having your eyes scratched out.
I actually found the Florida version from the same county that I'm from, and when I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is the one that I heard. So I'm going to read that to you guys, and you can hear exactly what I heard, because I went and I looked it up. In the 1800s, there lived a young woman named Mary. As an illness swept over the place where she lived, making people drop dead in just a few days. When physicians couldn't find a pulse, they used to put a mirror under the nose of the person to see if their breath would fog up in the glass. But this, unfortunately, wasn't the best way to determine if they were actually dead. Cases of people who were pronounced dead but weren't happened often. So when one would die, people would put a small hole in the coffin and put a piece of string through the hole that was attached to a bell. The bell would hang on a stick by the homes of the deceased, and if they woke up, they would simply pull the string, ring the bell, and would be dug up. Of course, when Mary was bedridden and slowly died, she was laid in a coffin in her grave. She wasn't able to be buried just yet, as it would be easier to unnail the coffin that way, just in case. The string and the bell were, of course, on hand. Days passed, and then nearly a week. Her parents never left the house, wishing with their very being that their sweet Mary would awaken again. Their friends told them it was high time to lay Mary to rest, as if she hadn't woken up by now, she never would. Unable to face the loss, they were inconsolable. Perhaps feeling guilty, their friends insisted that they at least get out of the house and away from staring at the grave at all hours, not sleeping or eating. They took the mourning parents out for the day, not taking no for an answer. When her parents had gone, a neighbor came and began to fill up her grave, string and all. He was worried that Mary would never be buried otherwise, and being superstitious, was afraid of what might happen if her spirit grew angry at never being laid to rest. He left the bell pull so that her parents could at least feel at ease that she would be able to signal if she did wake up in her coffin. Not soon after, Mary awoke from her slumber. She pulled the string. The bell rang. She waited to be rescued, but her parents were gone with the neighbors, and the old man who had put her in the ground was a little deaf and couldn't hear the frantic ringing. Which, rude. Rude. If you're going to bury somebody, make sure there's somebody there to listen to her ring the bell, sir.
I mean, I feel like how many days was she in this stasis waiting period? Because like you can't just like surprise Jesus style come back to life over here, Mary.
Surprise, Jesus style.
She was dead.
She was dead. She pulled and pulled the string in a total panic as she realized that she was buried alive. Why wasn't anyone coming to save her? She pulled until the bell fell, and so did the stick. She began clawing and scratching at her wooden prison until her fingers bled, and then she kept scratching until her fingernails peeled back from her nail beds and she bled scarlet, running in thick waves down her arms, staining her church dress. When Mary's parents finally arrived home, the father soon realized that the bell was yards away from where it originally was, and soon called for his wife to come and help him dig up their daughter. When they unlatched the coffin, they found Mary, her hands like claws covered in red liquid, her once snow-white dress stained a terrible dark red. They put a mirror under her nose to see if somehow she was still breathing. Condensation was shown on the mirror, but even so, she was dead. The eerie fog on the glass was just the beginning of a terrible curse. Her spirit is said to have attached to the mirror. There's a reason why it's an old superstition to cover all the mirrors in the house when someone dies, so that their soul doesn't get trapped in the mirror. And now, whenever one calls Bloody Mary 3 times, she comes through the glass and claws at the person who called her with those awful fingers, her dress dripping with blood.
Yo, I don't know why that's not a horror movie. Like that exact version, nail horror, body horror gets me every single time. I don't care what's happening. Someone's losing a fingernail and I'm over here going,
Same. That's the part
Yeah,
that
same.
really got to me in The Ring. Okay, the
Oh, yeah.
screaming dead faces that are petrified, like in fear, that did get me. I'm not going to lie to you. When
I
she
mean-
comes through the TV, but the worst part is when she's trying to climb out of the well and her fingers are falling apart and her nails are... No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No,
Also,
thank you.
they were just like at a church function, right? Like I'm not trying to deconstruct this story, but also she survived for days in this coffin in this like stasis sleep state, right? And then she
Yeah.
wakes up, rings the bell, and she's fucking dead within hours. What is happening here? Somebody logic this to me because it's not logicking. All the same, I'd like a movie with this exact story. It would be petrifying. Just Mary
Okay.
slowly dying in the coffin.
I agree. My excuse for this story is you can survive up to 3 days without water, I think it is. And if you're maybe in a coma, you might be able to make it a little bit longer. So my thought process goes, she's ill enough that she goes into some kind of comatose state. So she maybe needs a little bit less, like she might make it a little bit more. And then she wakes up already on the verge of death, like so dehydrated, expends all this effort trying to claw her way out of literally she's been buried alive. And then that's it. Like her heart and her body can't take it anymore, so she dies.
I accept this. I accept
Thank
this.
you.
You're welcome.
yeah,
Nice.
being buried alive is a fear of mine as well.
It's
So I'm
a
going to be cremated.
same. Me
Yeah.
too.
Burn me. Burn this bitch. I'm
Yeah.
an organ donor because I believe in recycling, but burn this bitch. I'm not
No, I want to be made into a coral reef or planted into a tree pod. spuns
Aw.
Yeah.
for the
I
future
think that
date.
would be so cool. If
Yeah.
I see, so Nick thinks that this is a gross thing. I really like the diamonds made out of people thing. I think that's spooky and cool and
I also
kind
think
of
that's
sweet.
cool. Here's
Yeah.
a gem made of my dead flesh.
Right? Exactly. Like, I
You're
made you a
welcome.
diamond with my bones.
With
I
my
think that's cool.
I spawns. I grew you with my body, and now I present to you a gem also made with my body. That would be great. I would do that.
Yeah.
They would not like that, but I would do that.
Yeah,
Like that.
I would totally do that too. But Nick, not being a girl, won't really care about shiny, shiny things. So I don't know. I guess a tree. I guess turn me into a tree.
You could be a
So
tree,
if
but
you were a
listen.
diamond, you would be a haunted diamond.
See,
See, this
I was
is
just
part
gonna
of
say.
why I think it would
Haunted
be so
diamond.
much fun. I would be the lady haunting the diamond. I would just be like, "Ooh, hello," and then I would
Hello.
cause trouble, and it would be hijinks. It would be great. It would be
Hello,
great.
Clarice. No, but that's how you get haunted forests. First of all, you plant a bunch of dead people and turn them into trees. Guess what? Haunted ass forest. And then if you sink me to the bottom of the ocean, where then become part of the coral reef and whatever scientists are doing, then my ghost can chill with sharks permanently and they can't eat me. Therefore, I win.
You do win. You definitely do win. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to return to the story. I shuddered and swore to myself that I would never do anything like that. Boy, was that ironic foreshadowing. Summer break came fast, and before I knew it, it was here. My mother turned to me that evening and informed me that she and my dad would be going away overnight, so I had to take my little sister to the sleepover, and I wouldn't be able to come home that night since no one would be there. Occasionally, I would go to sleepovers next door that were kind of an open-ended invitation since my house was literally a few steps away. So if the older girls were awake and hyped up on sugar sticks and read Food Diet till 2 a.m. and I wanted to sleep, I would just go home and go to bed. Not only could I not go to bed if I wanted to, but my incredibly annoying kid sister was going to embarrass me in front of Stacy and Becca. She always went out of her way to be mean to me, and so I was beyond aggravated at this point in the conversation. My mom was completely unmoved by my begging her not to go out. I told her that this was planned for a whole week and that no one invited my sister, and it would be really rude to just appear with an uninvited guest. My mom told me that she had already told Stacy's mom and that it was fine. Mrs. Hart, Stacy's mom, was working late that night, and so she would be home until about 8 or 9 p.m., and after that, the older girls were in charge of babysitting us. Mom, you're making my friends babysit now? Are you serious right now? She told me to button up, get my stuff, and take my sister with me. Southern moms do not take that lip, okay? They do not take that lip.
Can I just point out, I've now got Stacey's mom in my head.
Stacy's
I was singing it.
It's got it going on. This is exactly what I thought this episode was going to be like.
I was sitting back and I was like, don't interrupt again. Just you can keep that one to yourself.
Never. Oh my God. Oh, I'm thriving. Okay. I felt like the day was going from bad to worse. This was so incredibly lame. Gone was my dream of a cool girls sleepover, and now it was going to be so awkward since my mom had commandeered our fun night and turned it into a babysitting gig. Worse, my friends were now in charge of me like I was some little kid they had to stop from running with scissors. I basically stomped next door and rang the doorbell. We actually spent an okay time playing card games while waiting for Pizza Hut to deliver our dinner. Stacy and Becca decided to teach us how to play poker. They found the idea of turning us into baby hustlers hugely entertaining, especially the thought of my 7-year-old sister hustling chocolate milk at recess with Texas Hold'em or 5-card stud. By the time the pizzas got delivered, I started to believe that the night was maybe not going to be the disaster that I had originally thought. A stack of blockbuster VHSs littered the end of the bed, all the summer's best films laid out before us. We all decided to watch the one that we had heard the most about from our friends, Jurassic Park. Pauses for Karly's reaction.
Daddy Grant. That's all that I have to say. Okay.
Daddy Grant. There
Daddy
are so many
Grant.
directions. So
Daddy
many directions that could have gone.
There is. Jurassic Park is one of my all-time favorite films, and I have a deep, deep, deep love for Dr. Grant. Probably, along with Indiana Jones, one of my first crushes. Give me an older graying man. I'm here for it, okay? Everybody is out there making thirst traps about Ian Malcolm, and I'm like, you're missing the real star of the show. Daddy Grant whipping his sunglasses off to look at the dinosaurs.
I love that so much. I support this rant. Okay? That's why I paused for it. I knew there would be something good. And she provided us with gold because we all needed to hear that. So
It could have been dinosaurs, but today it's Dr. Alan Grant.
Dr. Daddy Alan Grant. Okay. If
Daddy
you
Grant.
guys agree with her and you're like, this man is underrated, please write in the comments and let us know. We might do a poll for this one for thirst traps, but it'll be Daddy Grant as a thirst trap.
Listen, Sam Neill in literally every single role that he is in, he's getting older. He's aging better than Harrison Ford. I said what I said, and I do not retract that statement. Sam Neill
He's aging
can
like fine
get
wine.
it. He can get it. He's a grandpa now, and I don't fucking care.
So he's a gilf.
Yeah. Gilf. Daddy Grant. Thirst Trap Edition. Sold. What else does this episode need? Done. My work here is done.
We're complete now. That's it. We can go home. Okay. That killed a few hours, but by the time the movie ended, it was only about 9:30. We took turns reading the new R.L. Stine that Stacy had, trying to scare each other. Stacy's mom went to work and we were alone in the house. We downed an inhuman amount of pixie sticks and played a hyper round of Truth or Dare. That took us to around 10 p.m. Still way too early to go to sleep. After all, we were living the dream, full of junk food and no adult supervision. Stacy looked at us with a wild gleam in her eyes. She pulled a lighter out of her pocket and flicked it so that the fire ran through her splayed hand. We're going to play a game, girls. Becca laughed. Oh, I know that look. Stacy lit a candle and held it under her chin like a flashlight in a scary movie. We're going to play Bloody Mary. Here are the rules. We each go into the bathroom with a candle in the dark. You shut the door, you stand in front of the mirror, and you say Bloody Mary 3 times. You have to stare into the mirror the whole time. If you flinch, she will get you. You'll see her there in the dark, and she will get closer and closer to you. The 3rd time that you say her name, you have to blow out the candle and stay in the dark with her for at least a minute. We all took our turn in the dark that night. I watched each one of them go into the pitch black bathroom with just the guttering light of the candle. I had never seen Stacy pale before. She half stumbled into the room looking wrong, like the girl that I knew had had all of the life drained out of her. She was ghostly pale and trembling. I saw the moment she saw me watching her. She pasted on a fake smile and made a joke, and somehow her pretending that she was okay scared me so much more than anything else. My sister went next, and then Becca, and both of them were the same way, terrified and masking it with quips, but no one was really laughing. It was my turn. I tried to talk my way out of it, and I said it didn't seem like we were really having fun. Stacy gave me a hard time, and I realized I couldn't talk my way out of it this time. I looked back at them, and they were all pale and staring off into space, eerily still. It was like a horror movie. By the time I got into the bathroom, my heart was beating out of my chest, and I could feel tears of pure terror welling in the corner of my eyes. The door slammed shut behind me, and I shouted at Stacy, but no one answered me, and it felt like it was barricaded shut. So I did actually try to open the door. I was just like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm all right. But it was stuck shut. So I don't know still to this day if they did that, which I always believe that they did. Looking back now about all of the arcane fuckery that's happening, I don't know if Bloody Mary did it. I don't know where they were in the room, because when I look back, I realized that they were all over by the bed on the opposite side of the room, but I was barricaded in the dark. There were no doors or windows in the bathroom, and it was surprisingly black in there, darker than nighttime or anything else I had experienced before. The only thing that comes to close when I think about it is cave dark, a pitch-thick darkness that feels like a physical presence. The candle flame wavered and then flared high for no reason, acting strangely, and maybe it was just my panic talking, but I could swear that it was like the light was being overcast by shadows, as if the darkness had hands and it was reaching out to put out the light. Shaking with fear, I said the words, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Cover your ears, Laura. Bloody Mary. Laura she's not live, laugh, loving, as Karly would say. She is not thriving. I saw my own reflection twist and change in the mirror. It was my face at first, and then it was wrong. So wrong. I looked at a twisted, demonic looking version of myself, her eyes black pits, her mouth in a horrible death mask grin. Then I watched as my face twisted, my eye sockets sinking in, my nose rotting. I was watching myself die and rot away in front of me. I was too scared to move or breathe. And all I could think about was Stacy saying that if I flinched, if I looked away, Bloody Mary would come through the mirror and kill me. As I stared at my own death, my rotten skull less than a foot from my face, alone in the dark, the image shifted again. A shape began to form in the shadows, moving closer and closer to me. She wore a black lace veil that covered her from her head down to her waist. Her dress was a dripping mess of either bloody cloth or maybe skins. Long black hair spilled around her. She moved closer and closer, and I knew that I couldn't back away or flinch or look to the side, or she would take me. But I backed into the bathroom door and screamed for them to let me out. I felt for the doorknob. I twisted it as hard as I could, never looking away, but it was no use. They had left me in. Frantic pounding came from the other side of the door. I heard someone shout, "Don't look away. You can't leave yet." I realized that they weren't boxing me in out of a desire to mess with me. This was what the ritual was. I couldn't leave or look away because then whatever force stopped her from crawling through the mirror would be broken and I would die. Her hands rose up, reaching for the edges of her veil. I wanted to scream again, but at this point I was so scared I couldn't move at all. I felt like if I looked at her face, I would literally drop dead. The veil inched up. My heart tried to leave my body. I could see up to her mouth now. She smiled, and I saw that her teeth were red with blood, as if she had just junked the life force out of someone. Her hands were red too. The nails were almost like talons. She reached towards me and dragged them over the glass. The veil lifted. Yeah, nails on glasses.
Oh,
It was
thank you.
horrible. It's nails on chalkboard kind of a sound, but when she does it, it's worse.
Ugh.
The veil lifted, and I sort of blacked out. Did I close my eyes? Is that why what happened later that night happened? Was it my fault? Did I let her out of the mirror? The door opened and light poured in, and I ran. I slammed the door to the bathroom shut behind me, but not alone. Stacy and Becca pushed against it too. It was as if it didn't want to shut, as if she was pushing her way through. We all huddled around the bed, jammed close together, backs to the walls of the bedroom, light turned all the way up to its brightest setting. Stacy tried to be reassuring. Look, I know that was all scary and stuff, but it's just a game. We are all totally okay. The light's on. Nothing's coming for us. Let's just stay up until the sun comes up. We'll leave all the lights on all night, and I'll turn on the TV and just let it go. We'll watch something, and in an hour, we'll forget all about this. Your mind's plays tricks in the dark, and it was just a hallucination, probably. I wanted to go along with her. I wanted to believe that this was just a bad dream. We watched TV in silence for a long time, none of us really paying attention. I realized that it was the jewelry channel at some point, where people call in and buy what they see on TV, the home shopping network. Necklaces glittered, the TV host dolled up like a glamour shots girl, her hair teased to the heavens. 1993, baby.
But they're selling dead people diamonds.
Dead people diamonds. I
Dead
would
people
buy them.
diamonds all the way. It has to be dead people diamonds because it's a scary story. Becca shifted on the bed. I would feel a whole lot better if I knew that wasn't real. I need to sleep, and I have to get up to take a driver's test tomorrow. I checked my Beauty and the Beast digital watch. It was 11:45 p.m. We were all pretty exhausted at this point. Sleep sounded great. We probably all saw something different, right? Like just tricks of the light when you wake up in the dark and you think that a pile of coats on a chair is a man in your room. If we all saw different stuff, then we know it wasn't real and we can just go to bed. Becca raised her eyebrows at Stacy. Stacy nodded. Okay. I saw my face first, but then it looked dead. My mouth dropped open. Everyone looked around, nodding in a silent yes. Goosebumps erupted on my skin and I shuddered. I felt like someone had walked over my grave. Stacy held up her hand. Wait. Isn't that exactly what happens on that ride at the theme park where we went 2 weeks ago? You know, the hologram at the end where you see yourself in the mirror and then you see the skull superimposed over your face so it looks like you're dying? Like it's your dead face looking back at you. Come on, that's just our fears cooking up something from memory. We all breathed a sigh of relief. I looked down at my watch. It was midnight. Let's get some sleep then. Becca walked to the light switch, yawning. Wait, how do we know for sure? Unless That was what all of us saw. Like, we all saw her, right? She was there in the mirror. We didn't just watch ourselves die. What did she look like? Because that's not on any ride. What if she looked the same to all of us? I said. My palms were sweating. I wanted to go to sleep and forget about all of this, but I knew this wasn't a trick of my imagination, and I was terrified that if we dropped our guards and turned off the light, Bloody Mary would come and kill us in the dark. Becca stood by the light switch, frozen. It was a woman with black hair and a long black veil. It looked like black lace. I could see blood dripping from her dress, and her hands were scary. She had these long nails, and she lifted. I saw all the color drain from Becca's face. I turned to see Stacy, her hand over her mouth, my sister clutching the blankets, knuckles turning white. Becca ran back to the bed. Primal fear was thick in the air. I froze. We had all seen her, but more than that, we had all seen the same thing. It was written in their terror. Suddenly, the only light in the room was the cold glare of the TV. The light had suddenly switched itself out, and we were in the dark. Long shadows seemed to pour out into the room. They moved of their own accord, not cast from anything. We screamed all at the same time. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, I whispered. All the air seemed to leave the room, and it felt like ozone flooded the room. Pressure dropping like the moment before a huge storm unleashes hell. I've lived through my fair share of tornadoes and hurricanes, and the closest feeling that I can link this moment to is that feeling right before the storm drops on top of you. Goosebumps cover your arms, the world goes dark, and that twisted shade of green fills the sky. And then the storm tears the world apart in front of you. It's an apocalyptic feeling. We all threw ourselves as far back on the bed as we could, pushing all the way back to the headboard. The darkness expanded, shadows stretching like an enormous wave ready to drown us. The bathroom door opened by itself, creaking. It opened slowly, menacingly. We screamed. And then we saw it. Where the top of the wall meets the flat surface of the ceiling, a red line formed, not just in one corner, but in all four corners of the entire room. Slowly at first, it welled up into thick red and poured down towards the floor in dark ribbons. We watched as it flowed down to the floor, blood running down the walls, boxing us in. It was like that scene in The Shining when blood starts leaking from the elevator, a second before the doors open and a huge wave of gore smashes into you. We were all screaming our heads off. My voice cracked painfully. In an act of incredible bravery, or maybe guilt laced with self-preservation, Stacy threw herself across the bed to the wall where the light switch was. The second her hand pounded the big red dimmer switch down, light flooded the room for a second and the walls were still bloody. But in a blink, it just disappeared. We all collapsed, breathless and shaking. I don't know how long we lay there for. We agreed to leave the lights on until sunrise. We would keep a watch all night. Stacy turned the light down a little, so we still felt protected, but overstimulated and exhausted, we agreed to let her lower the brightness until it gave the room a cozy, low glow. Did that really happen? My sister asked. I nodded. Stacy opened her mouth. A thought rushed through me, and I interrupted her. Wait, stop, I shouted. Nobody say anything. We just learned about Salem this year, about mass hallucinations. I know what you're going to say, Stacy, that we were all scared and highly suggestible, and I get it. But what are the chances that we all saw the exact same thing twice? Don't we need to know for sure? If we all count to 3 and we all say what we saw and then it's different, it's not like someone says what they saw and then everybody agrees and just believes they saw the same thing because of the power of suggestion. We count to 3, and then if everyone says something different, that's way less scary. That means we've just been tricking ourselves, right? Like what happened in the witch trials. Stacy nods her agreement. 1, 2, 3. Blood ran down the walls, we all said in unison. For years after this, I would see her in dark mirrors. I was terrified of going anywhere that had a mirror in the dark. I saw her in the TV when I would get up at night because I was thirsty or hungry. I saw her in dark windows, in the glass wall of the shower door. Sometimes out of the corner of my eye, I would catch her in a reflection even during the daytime. I racked my brain for some way to get my life back. It eventually occurred to me that what all the kids who told the story had in common, the ones that were still here, were the ones that didn't look like they were walking balls of terror, but looked healthy and happy and like they could laugh about it. My constant terror made me look paler and more messed up than them. But what they all had in common was that they were actively telling the story. From that night forward, through all of that time, I had never said a word. I was sure that if I said her name, it would be it for me. I pictured different obituary headlines. Body of young girl found in school bathroom. Blood found on the mirror. It is not a match to the victim. Police search continues. The girl was described by friends and family as quiet and artistic. One night I snapped. I was pretty sure my theory was right. I was terrified, but I couldn't keep going on like this. I went into the bathroom and turned off the lights. I stood in front of the mirror. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. She appeared looking exactly as I remembered. That night I struck a deal. I told her I was a storyteller, that I would tell her story for the rest of my life if she just let me be. I would tell everyone every year. And I did, and I'm doing it right now. Eventually, it got to the point that she became part of me. I had a friend of mine do a tarot reading about it, and she told me that I had something really dark attached to me that left a mark on me and would never leave me. Bloody Mary would be with me forever. Tonight, we are going to play a game. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. And I'm not going to say it again because I'll get in trouble.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was fantastic. That was excellent storytelling. I was terrified, and I already know this entire story.
Thank you.
Whew, that was great.
So now that I've traumatized Laura all over again, do you have any thoughts or feelings about this before we ask Bloody Mary what's up and how she's doing?
But I feel like that was a very good story, first of all, Joy, so well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second of all, the blood running down the walls is going to haunt me.
It was very intense, and it kind of has stayed with me, I'm not going to lie, which is how I could write that story so many years later in such graphic, terrifying detail for you guys. You know, like it's the gift that keeps on giving.
That was really scary.
No, it really is. I maintain that this should, in fact, be made into a horror film. This exact story. I have only had one shared group. Well, it was me and another person. It was me and Busy. We had the same paranormal experience, except we were adults, and there may or may not have been the legal version of weed gummies involved. So at the time, it was like, what's happening here? You know, at the time, I had this wild experience. I remember looking over at Busy and being like, what the fuck? You know? And then afterwards, we were comparing notes and we were like, how did the exact same thing happen to both of us? And it's one thing, you know, I like to say that a nun, in this case, so we have Bloody Mary and then we have a nun, in my case, dragged my soul through time and space. And that's the closest that I can come. But this feels even more dramatic because I didn't see anybody's face melting off, for one thing, you know. It's serving Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. Not the Temple of Doom.
You have chosen poorly.
That's the one. You have chosen poorly. It's serving Indiana Jones. It's serving classic horror, blood dripping down the walls. But I wanted, did she lift her veil all the way up for anyone? Or was it just this like ongoing horror that you were going to eventually see her face?
So she, at the end, you see everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, I know that I saw everything, but I can't retain what that looked like. So I don't know if it's one of those things where she's a mystical, spooky creature and you're not allowed to remember, or if it was so horrifying that my brain just went, no, not gonna be keeping that one.
That reminds me of the Mothman, because that actually happens in cases with Mothman where they saw the face, but they had so much psychological terror that nobody can accurately describe what Mothman's face actually looks like. So maybe it's the same thing, combined powers.
I mean, it could be. Like, in which case, I would say that it's concerning that she was just like, I'm going to stay with you forever and ever and ever, Joy.
Forever.
But I don't know. I don't know if that makes me like her even more. Like, I feel like I'm very Morticia Addams about this. And I just feel like she's going on her hellish crusades. She's doing what she said she wanted to do, you know? She's terrorizing.
She's thriving.
And good for her. We love to see a working woman, you know? We like to see her being powerful and doing her thing.
Live, laugh, love, torment. That's
exactly
Bloody Mary. Yeah, and it actually is interesting because I don't really like telling people that they have an attachment. You know that. You know this about me. It's very rare that I'll say something like that. In this reading, I was like, huh, okay then. Well, and I was like, do I say the words? And I was like, Joy knows me well enough to know how deeply I despise telling people things like this. But in this case, there's no other option. There's nothing else that I could say because that's what's going on. So here we are, telling Joy
Was
that
this
she
the
has
original? Was
permanent.
was
Yeah,
that the original reading?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the original reading that I did for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you checking for goosebumps, Laura?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how you know it's going to be a good episode. It's when one of the hosts is like, I have the bumps, the goosebumps, terrifying,
Goosebumps.
chilling things are happening.
I feel like I'm not sitting very still either. I'm kind of like, no, don't like it.
Yeah, you're full on. If there was a sofa here, I would be behind the sofa. I'm waiting for you to pull out a cushion from nowhere and just work behind it. Oh, there we go. There
it is.
Okay.
Protection.
Ladies,
I have one
gentlemen,
handy.
non-binary babes. She has pulled out a stunning robin's egg blue cushion to hide behind.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful.
It is so pretty.
Well, you want to
So-
fuck around and find out?
I fucking want to fuck around and find out. I love doing this. Let's do this slightly demonic, possibly edition. That's one of the questions that I have. I have some questions lined up for you, but
Okay.
I thought that it would be fun for you to kick off and just be like, "What's up, Bloody Mary?" like you did last time, because that got us some really interesting information.
I'm into it.
I think you're down for all of the fun occult stuff, and it's why I love you.
I really am. There's literally no time that I'm like, I don't want to do that. I've done it when I knew I shouldn't do it. So, oh look, woman, that's fun.
Yeah.
Daisy wheel, a shared, a passed on gift, if you will.
Mhm,
The
mhm,
sextant traveling wherever you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that very much is vibes of the Daisy wheel. It has some ancestor ties to it, but it's like it is a cycle. It is something that is passed on. It is something that will stay with you and apparently travel with you. Oh, the crystal ball. Hey, hello. Coffin nails. In it to the end, girlfriend. A final ending of
Until
vitality.
you die. She's
Oh,
a
but
ride or
look.
die.
But look, coins. So that's good. She bestows. See, she doesn't. She likes you. You've crossed off her Bloody Mary. Her Bloody Mary gifts. I was just thinking about something completely different that doesn't make any sense in this context. I've now forgotten what. Oh, no. Split with James McAvoy. When he turns into the Beast, and then the
Mhm.
one girl that's in all the horror movies with the big eyes. What's her name?
There's
She's
a
a
few
great-
of them.
She's a great actress. She's in Split. She's the one in Split. She's the girl who survives Split because the Beast is coming for her and he bends the bars of the cage that she's hiding in, and then he sees all of her scars and she decides that she is pure and worthy because she's quite literally faced her demons. So she gets to survive while he murders all the other people. Same vibe. Okay.
I'm on it as the resident IMDb
Anya Taylor
lover.
Joy.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah,
That's her. I had a
I'm
marathon.
sorry. My brain was slower than Laura was talking and my brain was too slow.
Brains are doing things today, Brains
They're
in
doing
my
things
hair.
and the things they're doing is not entirely functioning.
They're not helpful today. They're
No.
there. Anyways, that's the feeling that these cards are giving me, that she's chosen to stay with you, not to like torment you or whatever, but she's more of like, all right, I see you. You have, in essence, clawed your way out of your own bloody grave as well. I feel that stamp of approval. See, that's that's good.
See, okay, so this actually exactly backs up my theory, which I've told to Laura before, but I'm gonna go ahead and share it here and now for fun. I think that she's a dark goddess from back in the day. And I think that what she is she is similar to the Baba Yaga. So you know how with the story of like Vasilisa the Wise, it's all about you go to the dark goddess and you prove that you're worthy by passing these tests, and the tests are not fun. They're not easy. There are flaming skulls that can like evaporate you. But if you are able to face your fears and pass the test, then you get some kind of either reward, respect, or like possibly maybe even a boon. And I think that she sort
A
of
boon.
judges people. Yeah. I think she sort of judges people as she unveils herself. I think as she's unveiling herself, she's sort of unveiling you and your deepest fears. So I think, like, for instance, the first one, right, is the fear of death. You watch your face start to decompose in front of you. It's the fear of your own mortality. And I think you have to sit there and face it calmly and be like, well, that's okay because we're all going to die. We know that. It's memento mori. Live your life beautifully and fully because one day you're going to die. I don't think it's meant to be like horrible look at your own death, look at yourself dying in like a terrible horror movie way. I think it's a challenge to face the fact that you're a mortal being. And then with her, I think it's kind of like fear of a lack of control, fear of the supernatural. She's this inexplicable female, which I find fun, force that you can't stop. And she is forcing you to confront that that's something that's real, that exists in the world. And that's really cool. So that's another primal fear that we have as human beings, that we can't change, control our environments. There are primal forces around us. We can't change them. We can't alter them. It's kind of like you have to accept that fate sort of exists in a way, in that there are forces that we can't contain. We can't define them. We can't explain them. And then I think it's the primal fear of darkness. That's one of the initial ones, the fear of the dark. You have to overcome the fear of the dark and understand that what you're actually afraid of, usually if you know you're by yourself, is what's around you that you can't define, or what's inside you that you don't want to define, like all that shadow work that you're maybe not doing. All of your own inner darkness is reflected back at you. So I think by passing these 3 tests, you're facing your shadow self, you're facing your fear of your own mortality, right? And you're facing fate to a degree, like that the supernatural or fate, depending on how you want to look at that one. And that just feels like an initiation rite of some kind. And when I was researching things like Stiff as a Board, Light as a Feather, and Bloody Mary, normally these games are really only played by girls. I think it's spread out more. I think gender has become less of a thing as gender has become less of a thing for the world in general, and it's become something that people are exploring differently. But from everything that I could see in my initial research, it's a girls' game. And it's linked to us being at the threshold of womanhood. And I feel like, traditionally speaking, that's the time when you, back in the day, would have been taken by your leader or your spiritual kind of like head of the village and been put through tests so that you could go into your womanhood strong, confident, and empowered. And I think that as terrifying as the experience was, I do feel empowered by it. I like the fact that I can look in a dark mirror in the middle of the night and be like, you know what? I'm the most terrifying thing in the darkness.
Question though, do we have to be traumatized in order to get to that point?
Answer: yes.
Yeah. Maybe so. Maybe so.
I would take being traumatized if that's what it took to have James McAvoy standing shirtless before me saying that I am pure. I mean, I'll take it in Bloody Mary form too. I'm just saying, if I get to pick.
I think it's like a little bit like, you know how there are people who manage their anxiety by doing like extreme sports?
I do.
Absolute
It's
science.
well, I was thinking about it because I climbed a ladder one rung too high the other day, and I was like, oh, I'm about to fucking die. And I'm not that type of anxiety queen. I'll just stay. You know what? I like to be nestled in my blankets with my little horror movies, and I'll leave the thrill chasers to other people because I saw the face of God on that ladder.
Yeah. Same, I would not be an extreme sports person. I think that silence was just me trying to compute what you just said.
Yeah. I was trying to think of any example where, yes, I can relate to that feeling, but no, I go into the ocean knee deep and I'm like, well, I'm about to fucking die. A shark's gonna eat me. That's my thrill, is laying in knee deep water and being like, whew, I've survived. So nope, I don't get, I know other people do, and I support this journey for them. Burn that adrenaline, you gorgeous bitches out there, but not me.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was, I have a friend who has anxiety. She's scared of heights, and her way of making herself feel better is that she's a climber. She's a she's a fucking climber. So she finds a lot of release in directly facing her fears head on. And surprisingly, like, I've spoken to quite a few climbers who are actually afraid of heights. And they're like, it helps me cling on better. But where I was going with this was like similarly to how both you and Karly kind of get that adrenaline rush and release. Like, if you're really anxious, you will watch a horror movie and be like, oh, I feel better. That's kind of an unusual response. Karly also has this metaphysical, like, truth or dare, fuck around and find out, pushing the boundaries person. She is the most fearless person that I know with supernatural stuff.
Yeah, that's my
Right?
favorite. Yeah.
Right?
Occasionally
So
I
I
have
think-
consequences to pay, but for the most part, it's fine.
The woman crawling across your ceiling in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one time I talked about your demon too many times and his fucking ass showed up to haunt me and I was like, I'm cool. What?
Oh yeah, he haunted our podcast as well.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we didn't...
I was gonna say his name in the obnoxious way that I do, but I've decided not to out of respect for the podcast.
I almost just did it. I almost fell for it.
I will leave this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was gonna say, I think that sometimes playing mirror chicken with Bloody Mary is like my way of doing that. You know,
that
you go into the darkness
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, you go into the darkness and you face your worst fears head on, and then afterwards you just feel free and powerful as fuck. And it just reminds me of that that quote from Terry Pratchett where Granny Weatherwax says a witch should never be afraid to be alone in the darkest of woods because she should always know she's the most terrifying creature in there. That's how that feels. It feels like taking everything back and becoming something other, something different, like a raw form of the femme fatale, I guess, like a dangerous woman who isn't scared of the dark. And I find that really strangely and beautifully empowering. And I think that's what Bloody Mary has given me.
I love that. That seems to be the entire vibe. I also really enjoyed your description of the challenges and potentially it being an initiation. Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. To me, with what was inside of my head with my James McAvoy reference and the cards I just pulled for you, because you also said a boon, and the last card in that first set was coins, a literal boon.
Yep, I love that. I love that. So I have a set of questions that I thought that we could pull on to see what we get. Okay,
I'm ready.
So my first question, I'm going to change the order of this actually. How does she feel about Laura? How does Bloody Mary feel about Laura?
Laura, are you comfortable with me asking
Laura's
this?
giving me death glare right now. I absolutely...
I was gonna do it, but then I was like...
Why are you bringing me into it?
I almost... This is the kind of person that I am. I stopped to ask if you're okay with it, and then I almost started singing. You know the Santa Claus, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, except I was gonna sing it. She sees you when you're sleeping, and then I was like, that's terrible. Don't do that. So instead I just told you that I thought it.
That makes it much, much, much better. Much better.
Oh boy.
I have some really cool cards, actually. I'm kind of thrilled about these cards because this is what I was expecting to happen. And it pleases me greatly.
Oh, these are nice. Yeah,
Yep,
these
same.
are good cards.
I knew it. I knew it
Yeah.
because the thing is Laura is the quietest. She's the most subtle about this, but Laura is actually, in fact, a total badass. And like, she's so sweet and so lovely. And you wouldn't guess if you didn't know, but I do know. And I was like, I think she's gonna dig the vibe. Do you want to go first, Karly?
My first card is the Clover, which is good luck. It's happy feelings. There's nothing negative about this card. But traditionally it's good luck. The embalming fluid is protection. The cup is again happiness. It's very similar to the Ace of Cups in terms of card meanings. And then we have the Tear Catcher. And that one was interesting because it seems to be support in times when you feel grief or you feel at your lowest. So, I'm on board with this dark goddess vibe because that's what it feels like to me. It's serving the Morgan in some levels where, like, if you are really going through it and you call on her, she will fucking show up with her crows, but make it blood dripping down the walls, It's fine. We love a dramatic effect.
She's a ghoul friend. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that, I ask you? Okay. So I love this for you because we have death, which is the eternal cycle, ends and begins here. This one in this deck is a little bit about pausing and resting, but the main thing it's about is shedding your old life that wasn't working for you. Shedding your baggage and moving on to something that's much better, which I already know that you're kicking ass at and doing an amazing job of. And she's just like, I see you, girl. I see you over there.
They're the only messages I ever get.
Same.
I always get that message over and over again.
I think it's because, like, you're doing it and it's hard work, but you're doing it like a badass. So I think that spirit is always like, yeah, credit to her. So we have wise scene and wise action. You're making smart decisions and moving forward in the right ways. And this one, I think, also comes with, like, there might be some messages. There might be some gifts that you have yet to unwrap. And then you have the witch, which is the earthly weaver of worlds. And she invites you to step into your power. So she was like, you're tough. And I like that about you. I see you as a witch. I see you as somebody who's gifted. And I see you as somebody who is wise as well. So I think she's like, oh, she's a wise, tough little witch. And I like that girl a lot.
Okay, well, I like having the nice cards, but I don't want her to haunt me. Thank you. Please and thank you.
It's like, that was a nice conversation,
boundaries.
but you can't stay over.
Yeah. Thank
Stay
you.
with Joy, please.
I don't want to have any slumber parties. Thanks, but no thanks. Bye.
Okay, Karly, you can't be left out. How does she feel about Karly?
Let's ask. I feel like I could use her services directed at very specific.
We're gonna end the podcast. Karly's gonna be lighting a candle standing in front of the mirror, being like, Bloody Mary, what's up?
So, how does Bloody Mary feel about me? Dear, being sure-footed on the right path, the spell card. I haven't even gotten farther than that. Me sitting here flipping over these cards. I could use that, Bloody Mary. Why, yes. Yes, the key is a yes card. Sextant. Trample.
She was like, I'll come to you. It's fine.
What I mean, she'll get things moving in a new direction. Bloody Mary, my girl. Listen, I'm here. I am here for this. I will go into my bathroom, lights off with a candle, as long as you go to a specific place.
Yep. Oh, I know exactly what you're thinking, and I like it. I like it a lot.
I am tickled pink. I can't say it on air, Laura, but Joy can fill you in afterwards. So you have full permission. That was wildly amusing.
I'm thriving. Okay, I got the zombie. She wants to help you let loose and feel less anxious and feel more in control. I think in this case, it's like, it's understandable, but she wants you to feel back in control, and she doesn't want you to feel scared because she's got you. If you want it. You have death. She will fucking slay that previous cycle. She will slay it. She will slaughter it.
I am here for this.
And she said community and web waiting, any friend of a friend. Okay?
See?
Any friend of Joy's is a friend of mine. That's how I took that one. And she was just like, I'm here. You're in the web. I would watch out for the dark.
Yeah, I'm here for the dark goddess vibes. Like, fuck around and find out. Slaying edition.
I'm thriving. I love this so much. This just feels like women's empowerment, but on like a cult crack.
That was
like unhinged chaos magic.
That was the funniest answer I think I've gotten in ages, because there's no planning that. Me running my mouth, just being a sarcastic asshole a little bit, and the cards being like, yes, bitch. Yes. True cackles. All right, what's next on our questions?
Okay, my next question is, does she amp up my ghostly mojo?
Oh, that's a good question.
That flew out. Okay. What? Ma'am, not the whole deck. That would get very confusing. Because as we've established via Laura, I get things haunted. I get them real haunted, real fast.
Well, the answer...
I've had yet more messages from people being like, so Joy, ghostly bullshit started happening when I started talking to you about the ghostly bullshit that was happening on the podcast. And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I'm not. Keep it up. Do it. I'm never sorry. Everybody needs some ghosts in their life. This is my personal, humble opinion. Okay, the answer is yes. The first card to come out is the cemetery. The second card is the pipe, which is agreements and contracts. The next card is caskets. So yeah, do your job. Okay, but the last card is boar. And that's fun because yesterday we were referencing Super Mario and you couldn't remember which of his tools gave him the extra life. It's the green mushroom, but in this case, it's the star, the woohoo! And it makes you glow like rainbows as you bounce around and are in fact indestructible. So she can be your Super Mario battery pack star. You know when the music starts going really fast? So, yes.
I love this I love this so much because like it reminds me of this one time where I felt like I felt her helping me, which was I was at work and I was still bartending and I got groped from behind. And I mean I got groped really unpleasantly from behind. And I half turned my body and with one hand, I'm small, okay? With one hand, picked up this very large man by his neck and pinned him up against a wall and said, "Don't you fucking touch me." Boom. And then I just turned around and walked away. And that should be physically impossible. And also, I should have felt really sore afterwards. But I felt no pain.
You are. That's the kind of badass that you are. You know? Charges into apartments to save screaming women, pins men up to the wall by their throat. Super Mario, wee-hee!
But in this case, the Super Mario is a super badass dork goddess who's like permanently attached to me. Who is like, do we eat the men now? Like, I feel like that's the vibe. Like,
I also feel like that's the vibe.
Yeah. So she gave me on my end sweetness and synergy and scrying, which is intuition. So it was like a resounding yes on both sides. She was just like, I totally make things more ghostly. You're
welcome.
So much spookier because I am hanging around. Alrighty. So my next question, I said, because this is really funny timing, so I'm going to ask this one next. Respectfully, would she eat a man for me, Goodbye Earl style? Like supernaturally, if there was a bad dude that we wanted to get rid of, could we rely on her to, get rid of the evidence? That's all I'm saying.
Can I just say Goodbye Earl is an actual anthem, and I'm sorry that those of you watching didn't get to see my facial expression right now. but I'm also not sorry because I'm not wearing makeup. I think this answer. Yes.
Oh my God.
Both of your reactions to that one.
I wish we were a visual podcast right now because that was so priceless and we'll never be able to repeat that. But I got reducing your burden and Dawn. She said, as long as it's dark out, honey, I will get rid of that for you.
Yes, bitch. See, mine is the lantern. This one means no longer in the dark, but again, we're going to go with the darkness aspect here. Heart, love. If your heart's in the right place, gallows, she's here to pursue the guilty. Okay. And then this one says it's the staying, and the meaning is to direct the energy.
She really said, I'll show up, and I'm that kind of friend. I would move a body for you.
Yeah,
And
she
what
would
is
in
friendship
fact
without that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like girls, if we ever have a man versus bear kind of man, where we're like obviously we would
Bloody
choose
Mary.
the bear every single time. Bloody Mary is the solution. It's simple.
Well, if I'm ever in that situation, I will call on you, and then you can be the middleman.
You're like, I'm not gonna text her directly, okay? But Joy. Oh my God. Amazing.
Okay, what are we asking next?
Does she appreciate our banter?
I feel like
I mean,
yes.
she's joining in, so I think she probably
feel like
does.
it's yes already too.
She's been like,
but
yes,
I obviously
bitch.
wrote all of these before we started vibing here.
She's part of the group at this point.
She is part of the group.
Mine ended with the crown, the big payoff. That's a yes, but it started with the witch's ball, which is sometimes it's trapped energy, but more it's like a kind of protection magic type thing. The door. So literally, and then the amputation saw. Literally, yes. Let me add them. Okay. And then the shell, which is kind of like an in-between space where the sea meets the earth, kind of the in-between realms. And then the yes. She's here for this banter and she's also serious. Okay. Is this joking? Yeah. But she'll fucking get shit done. This is my takeaway.
I think that's flawless. She would like it if Laura would join in a little bit more. She's like, Laura's not
what
really.
she said.
No, I got a card for each of us. There's 3 cards that came out. I did not choose them. They came out of the deck. And it was like she would like it if Laura would engage in the banter, but because Laura's not engaging in the banter, she can't really rate it fully.
Wait, what was that card? Joy?
It's the zombie.
Control. I need to relinquish control and like chill. However, I support you and your boundaries. I'm not saying this is from her, not me. She's just like, babe, I would love to party with you too. We could have some awesome banter, but she feels how she feels, you know? Then we got sweetness and synergy and scrying and intuition. Scrying and intuition is definitely for Karly. She's like, this bitch over here who is a kick-ass medium tuned into the spirits and the ghosts. She was like, I like this flavor. And then I get sweetness and synergy.
Yep.
Which is what I usually get. With the ancestral connections, I wonder if she has some kind of Celtic tie-in somehow. I don't know. Or if the ancestors that I'm working with, the high priestess from way back in the day, has a connection to something much earlier and much older maybe, and that might tie into her.
And didn't you say something in the story about like shredded flesh? Is this okay, yeah, Black Anise. That's where I was going with. I remember I was gonna shout that when you were telling your story, but I was like, hold it until afterwards, and then I completely forgot. Black Anise. That's what it reminded me of.
No, that makes a lot of sense to me, actually. And my take on that little piece of folklore. So I think that could definitely be something that's linked in there. So my next question, because there are a lot of people who think that she's a ghost, I don't think she's a ghost, is has she ever been human?
Has Bloody Mary ever been human?
I'm gonna go over to this deck.
Well, the cards are the shovel, which is to clear a path. Can be used as a weapon in a pinch. That's my favorite meaning of that card.
Yeah, I love that.
But like something to be uncovered, uncovering something. And then the amputation saw, removing a toxic influence, saving yourself. And then the labyrinth, which is feeling lost in the maze. So I actually don't know. I'm going to say unclear on this
Okay,
end.
that's okay, because I feel like I can clear it up. I think she's describing on your side what her interactions with humanity have been like, because I have this card, which is like a no, I've never been human. It's Midnight Moth, which means distraction, and it's a no in this deck. So it's like a, if that's the question that you're asking, there's deception in there, like there's an untruth. It's not correct. So she's never been human. So she is not a ghost.
That makes sense. Maybe you have uncovered the truth with the shovel. She's just here.
She can definitely be used as a weapon in a pinch.
She's here to fuck shit up. You know, she can be used as a weapon in a pinch. She's here to fuck shit up. She's here to call the unworthy, a la James McAvoy. I hope she doesn't mind that I keep relentlessly comparing her to James McAvoy. It's a compliment.
Well, I mean, we already asked her, does she like the banter? And she was like, I love the banter. So
she does. And I can't help it that my mediumship comes with pop culture references, and this one fits perfectly. I just
feel like it's one of your best qualities.
You know, thank you. I also appreciate this about me. Who wants a reading where it's just all boring? And who wants a reading with just dozens of James McAvoy references? Or, you know,
I mean,
whatever.
I know which one I would pick.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
Let's see. Is she demonic? Just a fun question.
Interesting answer. She's what some people would term demonic.
Yeah. I thought that might happen.
It's not a no. These are actually very positive cards. We have the coins, which again, granting a boon to make a deal with the devil, as it were. This is her version of meeting the devil at the crossroads. You know, you want to make an exchange? Cool. She's in. She wants the souls of unworthy. And at the hagstone, so that's usually seeing into the other realm, other world. Again, the shell, where the ocean meets land. And then the mandrake root is the root of the issue, or fertility magic. So yeah, I think, a little demonic flavor. You know, some people
a little demonic spice, if you will.
Some people could say demonic. Some people could say dark entity. Some people could say, I don't know what it says about us, that the dark things are like, sup, we'll chill. I don't know. That occurs to me that probably the experience that we're having is not the experience that everybody else will have. So proceed with caution.
That's true. You and I are on a different vibe. We're like, it's like we're members of the Addams family, I feel like. We turn up and the dark, spooky babes are just like, hey girl, how are you?
Hey.
I don't think that all the sunshiny people are having the same experience that we are.
Hey.
I think you're right.
It's because we've had our own trial by fire. I've seen the shit. I've walked through the shit. Yeah. And now I'm like, well, guess what? You don't scare me. Let's talk it out.
I think that's the thing. I think that they're into that. I think that especially the ones that are actually darker deities are like, oh, this one is pretty ballsy, and I like that.
Yep. I like this one.
So we have a cool reading here, because I have the moon, I have death, and I have the 9 of swords. So I think what she's saying to me is she is what people kind of think that she is to a degree. I'm agreeing with you, Karly, on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Her energy towards a person is completely based on them and what work they've done. And she eats fear. Like she eats fear like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Okay? So I think if there's unrooted things, if people haven't done their shadow work, then they would experience her pretty demonically, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
We have the forest, which is seeing the bigger picture, and then we have Night Song, which is hidden talents. But for people who are willing to go through the trials, you get a very different side of her. So I think for us, she might be kind of like the divine darkness and healing and protective. But
Mm-hmm.
other people might have a different experience, and she might be quite demonic for them, which makes sense because I was like, oh, but I love her, she's the best, why don't we just summon her wherever, let's just have fun. And then
We'll
I pulled
have
cards
so
about
much
it. My
fun.
cards were like, you irresponsible bitch, don't go
do
doing that
this.
to other people.
Don't do this. Don't do this. No. Well, and again, James McAvoy, if you are not worthy, if you have not suffered enough pain in his eyes, he will rip you from fucking limb to limb as the beast. That's the entire point of the show. He's a serial murderer who kidnaps people and tears them apart, a la Bloody Mary. So again, you have to, you just have to be a certain kind of broken and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
look in the mirror. I see clearly who I am. That's fine. Roll up, Bloody Mary. Let's hang out.
I just picture you guys having some drinks together, braiding each other's hair. She avenges you super violently. It's good times. Good times.
I'm fine with that.
Laura, do you have any questions that you want us to ask?
Like, you carry
Laura's
on.
like, I am not here. I am not in this. I am unrelated to this situation. Okay. I actually think that you have answered all of my questions because does she have ties to witchcraft? You've already answered it. How does she view me? You've already answered it. I only had 2 other questions that we haven't really answered, and that's it. And then I think that's a wrap, really, unless you think of anything you want to ask. So the next question is she related to Lilith?
Similar vibes. The bear is independence. It's regeneration and independence. And if you look at Lilith historically,
She said, I choose the bear.
Yeah,
Sorry,
she did. She literally chose the bear. Literally. There's a bear card right in front of my face. But also, Lilith is about empowering women. Lilith left Adam because he was a piece of shit. And she was like, nay, I don't deserve that. I'm outie 5,000, queen. So same energy. And then the pillar is lifting up. And the crow's foot is a type of folk magic protection. So,
yeah,
yes, similar. I don't know that she's directly connected, but very similar vibes.
I got the same thing. I got midnight, which is an opportunity to do magic or a magical connection. And then the cauldron, which is synergy and healing. So I feel like the vibe would be like cousins or like half sisters, maybe. That's the answer that I think that we're getting. Like similar family, but not the same identity.
Yep. Yeah. Same vibe.
And then my other theory, I was going to ask, is she connected to Mesopotamia?
Oh, that's smart. Mesopotamia.
Thank you, because I'm thinking like Inanna and Ishtar and the skin blanket situation.
Skin blankets. Let me wrap myself in flesh. I have poison as my first one. Poison, eternal remembrance with the urn and the crown. It's a yes card. The big payoff, the winner. I don't know what the poison part is, but I'm gonna go with it. Yes.
I assume that's referencing like the darker side of things. So maybe like again, a partial. Like it might just be that she's one of the original primal dark goddesses.
Yeah.
So she maybe belongs a little bit to everywhere. So like in India, she might be kind of similar to Kali. In the Celtic pantheon, she's probably kind of related to the Morrigan. Like I think as we go through different places in the world, I'm getting goosebumps all over, which is a yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's the primal, if not, there might be more than one, but I think she is maybe one of the primal or the primal dark goddess. She's everywhere. So I got wise scene and wise action, authenticity, and the graveyard. She's all about getting rid of that unnecessary fear. And sometimes in kind of menacing ways for certain people. Not for me, apparently. But for some folks, it's not the same as it is for me, which I will
because
try to remember and not create terrible, terrible havoc.
you are pure. Oh.
Okay. Well, I think that is pretty much a wrap. Unless you can think of any more fuck around and find out questions, Karly. I think we're good here.
I don't think so. I think we fucked around plenty. We've learned that Bloody Mary will, in fact, wreak havoc on command, but also you better be the right kind of flavor before you go fucking around with Bloody Mary. This is my takeaway.
Yep, that's my takeaway too. Like she's 100% real. She has her own whims and personality, and I think that I see her definitely as like a Baba Yaga type figure where you pass the tests and she's your girl. You don't pass the test and you might never be seen or heard from again, or you might just be really haunted for the rest of your life. So this is why we respect Laura's boundaries, because that's a very serious answer.
That is a very serious
I feel like
answer.
it feels like Karly and I should be like, we're professionals. Don't try this at home, kids. This feels like a witch stunt show.
Really though, I'm terrified of humans. I'm so scared of people. Anything that goes bump in the night, I'm like, bring it the fuck on. Who are you? What are you doing? I've encountered some spooky ookies in my time. And recently, on my most recent in-person investigation, I was doing my thing, fucking around in the woods. And the most scared that I was the entire time was when I was in a graveyard after filming Wrapped. And I thought that there was potentially a human in the graveyard. That's the point where I was like, a man? I too choose the bear.
I was gonna say,
I choose the bear. Oh, yeah. This was
in Man versus
was
Bear,
fantastic.
we choose demons.
We choose demons. We choose
Demons
the
or bears,
the
fine.
demonic. I don't even believe in demons, but I believe in things
Yeah,
like
no, me
Bloody
neither.
Mary. And there's no better word for demons, I've learned. I've been trying to find dark entity doesn't quite cut it when it's this type of creature. You know? That's something else. I'm gonna ruminate.
That's the thing. That's the thing that I find hard, because you and I both are like, well, we don't really believe in demons. And then you have like Bloody Mary. And we're like, is she demonic? And she's like, kinda. I am kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she something that you would meet in the deepest pits of hell if hell was a place that existed? Yeah. Yeah. But if you've been to hell and back alive, she's not that scary, turns out. turns out
she's okay.
Bloody Mary, you are in fact not as scary as my personal demons. Therefore, we could chill. We could be friends. So, Bloody Mary, let's get coffee. Shit, I would drink.
You're gonna have to tell me how that goes. Yeah, I know you would. This is why we're best friends, because it's the same vibe. It's the same vibe.
It's the fuckery of it all. And but I do think, Laura, I think that she's gonna leave you be. I think she has understood the boundaries, and I don't think that you're gonna have any issues. This is what I'm feeling right now in this moment. I don't think you have anything to worry about.
No, I agree. I think that she likes Laura. I think she's like this precious little baby bird to her, and she's just like, that's fine. I won't go into your house. That's cool.
I won't petrify you in the night.
No, please don't.
No.
Yeah, I
So-
like just observing. I like all
Yeah.
the spooky stuff, but I don't want it to actually happen to me.
You're like the cameraman in this episode. The cameraman always lives. You sit back and you observe it, and you just watch us be wild, wild animals. And you're fine. You're fine. But you guys at home, if you got more ghostly activity, or if you play with Bloody Mary, write in and let us know what happened and how that went. If I have inadvertently, just through being myself, apparently, gotten you more haunted, let us know and we'll try to do something about that.
Yeah, and you have to listen out to see if we have any more EVPs in any episodes from now on.
I would
Can
be
you
thrilled.
imagine if on this episode it was just like, I'm here. Like,
I have to edit this.
oh my god, you do. I'm just picturing Laura like in a blanket, in a hoodie, burning sage or something, like salt
Terrified.
circle while editing.
If you keep haunting us, I'm going to swap it and you can be the editor.
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I couldn't possibly. I
couldn't.
I don't have the
couldn't
skill set that you have.
possibly.
It would just become a trash fire. Like it would just be a trash fire. I would not be good at it. I tried, sort of, and terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. So I can't. I'm
agree.
sorry. You're gonna have to deal with the EVPs. Maybe it'll be like last time though, where you don't notice it until I point it out.
It wasn't there, right? I swear, it was not there when I edited. I listened to it so many times because it was that quote. I tell you what, the ghost or whoever was on our podcast has upstaged me because that was the joke of the episode.
Yeah, it's true. That was such a good line. She's like, "There's too many motherfucking demons on this motherfucking plane," and the ghost goes, "What did he say that you heard?"
Well, someone said that they heard, yeah, I suppose, and
Mel.
that's what I hear.
It was Mel. Yeah, Mel said, "Oh yeah, I suppose." Which to there's too many demons on this motherfucking plane. He goes, "Yeah, I suppose." That's low key spooky, sir. But yeah, that's funny. And then afterwards in my stories, Laura pointed out that the audio just left. Like it just left the building midway through. And then I was talking to my friend afterwards who lives in Canada, and she was like, my phone just opened the voice note and started recording it completely by itself. And I was like, cool. And I've recently had another reading from a friend of mine who said that the ghost thing is in my blood. And I was like, yeah, that's true. That's a fun fact about me. The ghost magnetism is generations of it. So I'm sorry in advance. I love you guys. This is part of the fun of listening to our podcast because spooky ooky goodness. Yeah, let us know what strange things occur because I decided to do a podcast and apparently I have the power to haunt people accidentally
or on purpose.
Not on purpose. I was like, Karly was like, you know what you did. To be fair, I do know what I did. I am the problem. Laura keeps pulling the joy card out of the Halloween Oracle, being like, "What's the problem? Why does this keep happening? Why are the ghosts?" And she keeps getting the joy card, and she's like, "That's beyond pointing the finger at you. That's naming names." And I was like, "True story." Okay, well, Karly Latham, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. Do you have anything that you would like to plug before you leave us? Not that we have many listeners, but you could tell the 5 people that we love dearly.
I do actually, and I haven't even announced this. I think this is coming out before I'm announcing it on my page. This is like a fun sneak peek.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
God.
I'm always doing a lot of projects. You can, of course, keep up with my work on Death Becomes Us. You can hear me weekly pulling cards over on Camp Divination. But the new project is Dark Village has a new anthology coming out, and it is based on the 7 deadly sins. I have wrote possibly my favorite story of all time that I have ever written. It is fiction, but it is based on my lived experience. So it is, if anybody has thought to themselves, I wonder what's been going on with Karly. you should read the story and you'll see why I'm extra fucked up at the moment.
That is my favorite plug just ever. Just ever. I've had some sneak previews, and her writing is so good that I literally screamed down the phone at her that she's the new Stephen King and that she is the Stephen King of pink horror, and I stand by that. I need you guys to help me not bully, support her into making this a full-length novel, possibly. Like, I just think we should all be on that bandwagon.
So this one is going to stay a short story, but I will have a full-length novel coming out after this that will be very culty, very spooky, and also based on my life. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will take that all day, every day.
It's going to be
okay. Good. I am so excited. Thank you again for coming on. This was a blast. I had the best time.
Me.
Laura had, what kind of time would you say you had, Laura?
No, I had fun as well. I had a fun observing time.
I was going to say, that's probably the equivalent of like white knuckling a roller coaster, being like, oh God, this is great, but what's going to happen?
That's the perfect description. I think that's the perfect place to end it. So thank you very much for listening. We really hope that you've enjoyed this bonus episode with Karly Latham. We really, really appreciate you. Let us know in the comments down below if you want more bonus episodes like this, if you want more real-life spooky things. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. We would be very grateful. And if you know someone who would enjoy it, please share.
You can find us on Instagram at The Witches of Letters Podcast, or you can email us at thewitchesofletters@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay safe out there, have each other's backs, and always keep fighting.